Hello, thank you for clicking on the Literacy Volunteers of Harrison County YouTube channel. We're a nonprofit United Way agency and we provide these videos to you free of charge. If you like them, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Today's video is on the emotional, mental, and physical effects of daylight savings time on your body. So we adjust our clocks twice a year in observance of daylight savings time, and that can have various health consequences. Those consequences occur mostly in the spring due to losing an hour of sleep. So we're approaching that in March, and we kind of want to feel and see what these effects could have on our body. The fall that shifts back to standard time may increase depression and affect your mental health. There seems to be more depression and anxiety and even suicidal thoughts around the time the clock changes in both March and in the fall. And so there were some different studies that were done, or some different theories about the changing of the clock and how it affects your mental health. One of the theories talks about your sleep schedule, and your sleep schedule gets disrupted. And what that does is it disrupts your circadian rhythms. Your circadian rhythms are your biological clock, your body's clock. It's on a 24-hour cycle, and that will disrupt that clock, that internal clock that you have. Springing forward affects them more than falling back, which is what we set up here, which is what we're getting ready to do in March. Less exposure to sunlight is a problem. What happens is that lowers people's moods, like SAD, seasonal affective disorder, and it decreases time spent outdoors. So the vitamin D that you get from the sun, the serotonin levels go up when you're exposed to the sun, and those help to improve mood. How did we get started? Where did this begin when we started to do daylight savings time? So in the 1780s, Benjamin Franklin unintentionally first proposed a version of what we call daylight savings time. He did not envision the problems that this would cause in modern life. Daylight savings time has been shown to increase heart attacks, car crashes, and workplace accidents, both in the spring as the clocks roll ahead and in the fall as they go back. What are some side effects of daylight savings time? We talked about the disruption in sleep. Those studies found that mirrors jet lag, if you've ever flown, and the symptoms that has on your body. Emotional responses to stress are heightened when, say, like the effects of daylight savings time. So you may normally be able to respond to stress in a proper manner, but those stress responses become heightened, and you have lapses in judgment, which kind of explains car crashes and workplace accidents. Another study, there were two different ones they did together, and they concluded that those circadian rhythms, which drive our human body clock, they never fully adjust to the time changing. Instead, they remain disrupted until the clock resets months later. So you have that long period of time where your circadian rhythms are constantly off. Your internal body clock isn't functioning how it's supposed to function. Another study found that the overall rate of ischemic strokes, those are ones that occur most often, is 8% higher the 2 days following daylight savings time, while the likelihood for those with cancer having a stroke increases by 25% during this time period that they studied. That's the only time they studied, were the days immediately following daylight savings time. That research found that sleep disruption stirs anxiety, and that can increase the likelihood of emotional outbursts. What is the potential barrier to sleep? So we look at sleep deprivation. That's bad for health. Sleep health depends on the balance between two different processes: sleep homeostasis and those circadian rhythms. We've talked about homeostasis in a different video. That's just that your body wanting to keep a constant leveled environment, both internally and externally. So what that sleep does is it wants you to maintain the same amount of sleep nightly to get the same effects. But once we disrupt that, we start to have problems. The desire to sleep that begins from the moment you wake up through bedtime. So that's your body wants to sleep. So when you wake up, you start wanting to sleep until it's time to go to bed. Circadian rhythms, we talked about that natural 24-hour biological clock. That includes the sleep-wake cycle, and that regulates the timing of sleep at night and the wakefulness during the day. So this is set by the timing and the amount of brighter light exposure a person gets during the day. That's why sometimes maybe this time of the year or earlier, when it gets dark at 5 o'clock, you're already getting sleepy because your body's responding to those hours of daylight, the sunlight that it's exposed to. During daylight savings times between March and November, your body is exposed to less morning light and more evening light, which that can throw off your circadian rhythms as well. This throws off your sleep homeostasis, and that results in problems with your health. Some people don't understand that sleep is integral to good health. They always tell you to get between, and I think one of the studies said between 7 and 9 hours of sleep a night. But there's also a broader health hazard than just those two things. The transition to daylight savings time can create short-term health problems and those sleep issues, which will give you fatigue, and that can cause changes in your blood pressure, which isn't good. Typically, when you're more fatigued, your blood pressure will go higher, and then that's not good for your health. Late starters, or people they call night owls, that they wake up later in the morning, teenagers, those people are more vulnerable to the effects because they already sleep through more hours of natural morning light. Typically, the earlier that you wake up and get your eyes exposed to natural light, not a light in your house, the sunlight, that gives you get more serotonin produced in your body and makes you feel better. Long-term health effects from daylight savings time can include depression, slowed metabolism. Metabolism are the processes in your body that break down and create molecules. Weight gain can be caused by daylight savings time changing. Cluster headaches. Cluster headaches are headaches that occur in the middle of your head, and these are caused by inflammations of neurons, and those can occur more during daylight savings time. Cognitive, meaning thinking, and mental health issues. One study showed that there's 11% spike in these depressive episodes. You can also have digestive and heart issues. You're 24% higher risk of heart attacks during this time, and stroke rates increase during this time. Steps to saving sleep, saving your Z's. Number one, you want to keep a sleep routine. You want to aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. And the night before daylight savings time, try to go to bed maybe an hour earlier to try to adjust your circadian rhythms in your internal body clock. You want to chase the morning light. 1 to 2 days leading to daylight savings time, get outside in the morning during the time of daylight savings. Spend as much time outside in the mornings as you can to get that natural light into your body. Sorry. You want to eliminate your sleep disturbances, so try to avoid excess caffeine, alcohol, or blue light exposure 2 hours before bedtime. If you drink a bunch of caffeine, that increases your heart rate, increases your metabolic rate, and that will keep you awake. And sometimes it will help you to exercise in the morning. If you get active, that raises your body temperature, and that can increase your wakefulness, make you feel more alive and more awake, and that helps to reset your circadian rhythms, your internal clock. Some additional suggestions: you might want to eat dinner a few hours before bedtime. It's not really good to eat and then go right to sleep. Your body doesn't like that. It disrupts its digestive processes. Dim your lights closer to bedtime because you want to encourage melatonin production. A lot of people will take melatonin over the counter. That's just the chemical in your body that helps you want to go to sleep. It doesn't keep you asleep, it just helps you go to sleep. See, it helps you fall asleep. Try not to use your phone or watch TV around bedtime. A lot of people say don't have a TV in the bedroom so that you're not watching it. And then something you could try is a light box. You can buy these, UV light therapy. That helps to increase those serotonin levels that we were talking about, which make you feel more awake and more like wanting to do things. So we would like to thank you for watching this video, and please leave comments below if you have any, and have a good day.